By the time the sheriff cut the zip tie on the bright orange trespassing on HOA road sign, I was already being billed $175 a month to drive on the strip of asphalt I had personally designed, paid for, and watched cure like a proud parent. The scene looked absolutely ridiculous. One furious HOA president in a neon safety vest with her arms crossed. 3 flimsy folding barricades lined across the driveway. A tow truck idling, waiting to impound my Honda from my own land. "Ma'am," the deputy said carefully while pointing at the plat map, "this entire road is on his parcel." Beverly Sharp, president of the Pine Ridge Estates HOA, sniffed with contempt. "Not emotionally," she answered. "The community uses it. So it's ours." I looked from the deputy to the barricades to the invoice Beverly had just hand-delivered. HOA road use fee, owner N. Drake, $175. Violation, using HOA-owned road without authorization. I started laughing. Beverly did not. 6 months earlier, I just wanted to stop driving through mud. I'm a quiet, 38-year-old structural engineer who works from home, lives alone, and derives an unhealthy but entirely legal amount of joy from spreadsheets and drainage plans. I'd bought a weird flag-shaped lot at the edge of Pine Ridge Estates, bordered by HOA homes on one side and county land on the other. My house sat back from the main street, connected by a long dirt access strip that was, according to the county plat and my deed, 100% my property. No easements. No encroachments. Just a glorified driveway that turned into a swamp every time it rained. Enter Beverly Sharp, Pine Ridge HOA president, self-appointed guardian of community standards, and a woman who printed the bylaws out in color and had them spiral-bound. Beverly liked clipboards, anonymous complaint forms she wrote herself, and threatening to elevate things to the architectural committee, which was also just her. She did not like non-HOA-controlled anything, people minding their own business, or my ugly, practical, county-approved plans for a 10-foot-wide paved private road up my flag lot. "You really should submit that to the HOA for approval," she told me one afternoon, blocking my dirt strip with her golf cart. "It's my land," I replied. "The county already signed off." "That's not how community works," she said, the word community bending under the weight of her control issues. I, being both stubborn and correct, went ahead with my project. I hired contractors, got inspections, and constructed a very respectable small private road with proper base, drainage, and a neat concrete curb. I even added tasteful solar markers along the edge. The thing looked better than half the subdivision streets the HOA claimed to maintain. This drove Beverly absolutely insane. First came the letters. "You are in violation of Section 7.3, Unauthorized Improvement to Common Area." I mailed back a copy of my deed with the access strip highlighted in neon. Then came the courtesy notices slipped under my doormat. Road surface must be painted HOA-approved neutral gray. Reflectors must match community style guide, pages 53 through 57. Speed limit on HOA connector road is 15 miles per hour. Radar signs to be installed at owner's expense. I, who had entered my "oh, we're doing this now" phase, ignored every single one. Beverly escalated to surveillance. She started standing at the edge of my strip with her phone, filming me leaving my own driveway. She bought a handheld radar gun on Amazon and waved it at my car as I rolled by at 8 miles per hour. She printed a spreadsheet titled Unauthorized Road Usage, Owner Drake, and recorded each trip. When my Amazon packages started getting left at the start of the road on the public street because someone told the drivers this was a privately owned HOA road with restricted access, I knew Beverly had graduated from annoying to dangerous. Still, I figured it would burn out. Then the invoice arrived. Pine Ridge HOA Special Assessment, Road Use Fee. Based on traffic count, your usage of HOA road number PR-12, Drake Connector. Monthly fee, $175. Due in full in 10 days to avoid fines. Attached was a map. Beverly had literally printed my survey, crossed out my parcel line with red pen, and drawn a new one that moved the common area road onto my land. I realized she didn't just act like she owned everything. She had decided she legally did. The turning point came when Beverly tried to make her delusion official. She called a special HOA board meeting, which was 3 other retirees who only showed up for snacks, and passed a motion to accept my road into the community as an HOA-managed asset. She recorded this in the minutes, then filed those minutes at the county recorder's office as if it were some kind of transfer document. No deed. No signature from me. Just Beverly's manic paperwork trail. Then she overstepped in a way that got the wrong people's attention. She had the HOA maintenance guy move the community mailboxes, including mine, closer to the entrance of my new road so the mail truck wouldn't damage our asphalt. In the process, they dug holes on my property without permission, placed the multi-unit mailbox cluster directly over a drainage swale, and left deep ruts from a bobcat in the fresh shoulder. The next week, after a rain, water pooled around the box, soaking packages and flooding back toward the public street. A USPS carrier slipped in the mud, injured her ankle, and filed an incident report. USPS reported the hazard. The county inspector came out. And the county inspector was a former co-worker of mine. We walked the property with a plat map, survey stakes, and a very patient sheriff's deputy. "So this is your parcel line," the inspector said, pointing at a stake half buried near the new mailboxes. "Yup. And this road," he traced the asphalt with his boot, "is entirely on your parcel." "Yup. And the HOA claims it as theirs, charges you to drive on it, and moved federal mail equipment onto your land without an easement?" I looked at Beverly, who was frantically flipping through a binder. "That's the situation." The inspector sighed the long, exhausted sigh of a man who had seen one HOA too many. "All right," he said. "We're escalating this." Within 2 weeks, there were not just county officials involved. There was also a postal inspector and a city attorney very interested in the phrase unauthorized obstruction of authorized mail delivery and fraudulent property claim. The power shift started in a fluorescent-lit conference room at City Hall. On one side of the table sat me with my neat folder of permits, a real estate attorney I hired for a flat fee, and the county surveyor. On the other side sat Beverly, already red in the face, 2 HOA board members who looked like they'd rather be anywhere else, and their HOA counsel, who had the expression of someone realizing they'd been given key facts very late. The county surveyor rolled out a full-size plat and pointed. "Parcels 31A and 31B are HOA common area. This strip, 31C, is Mr. Drake's. The road is entirely on 31C. There is no recorded easement granting HOA members any rights to it." The city attorney slid a copy of Beverly's filed minutes across the table. "Mrs. Sharp, who drafted this document claiming the road as an HOA asset." "I did," she said. "It reflects the will of the community." "Did Mr. Drake sign any deed, easement, or transfer document conveying this road to the HOA?" "Well, no, but the board voted." "The board cannot vote to steal property, Mrs. Sharp." The HOA attorney quietly pushed his chair back a few inches, spiritually distancing himself. Then came the postal inspector. He calmly explained that you cannot move or tamper with USPS-approved mail installations without proper authorization and property rights. Creating obstructions or hazards to mail delivery is a federal issue. Filing misleading documents regarding access and ownership of property used for mail delivery might constitute mail-related fraud. Beverly's confident HOA president posture deflated. By the time the meeting ended, the stack of directives against the HOA included an order to remove the mailboxes from my property, a requirement to restore my land and drainage, a county determination affirming my exclusive ownership of the road, and a warning that any further attempts to restrict my access could result in civil and possibly criminal penalties. The city attorney looked at me. "You want to file for damages?" I paused, thinking of the invoices, the barricades, the mud, the filming, the radar gun. "Oh," I said pleasantly. "Absolutely." The karmic justice moment arrived at the next full HOA meeting, held in the community clubhouse with a turnout no one expected. Word had spread. Beverly might have stolen a road. The county called it fraudulent. There was a postal inspector. The folding chairs were full. Retirees in golf shirts. Parents with strollers. Teenagers in the back pretending not to care. I sat in the front row, calm, hands folded. Beverly attempted to call the meeting to order, but the vice president, normally a wallpaper-level personality, cleared his throat. "Actually, before we start, the board has an announcement." The HOA attorney stood up and, in carefully measured legal language, explained. The HOA had no ownership or control over my road. All invoices, fines, and road use fees sent to me were void and improper. The board had agreed to a settlement. The HOA would pay for full removal and relocation of the mailboxes. The HOA would pay for repairs to my property. The HOA would reimburse me for all engineering and legal fees related to defending my property rights. The president, Mrs. Beverly Sharp, had been found to have acted outside the scope of her authority, and therefore she was being removed as president effective immediately. The room erupted. Some gasped. Some actually applauded. Beverly stood there, mouthing "You can't," but the bylaws she worshipped had turned on her. A 2/3 vote of the board, confirmed by the members, and she was done. Then came the cherry on top. The city had approved my request to give my private road an official name for addressing and emergency services. I'd submitted only one suggestion. The city attorney cleared his throat and read from the letter. Effective next month, Parcel Access Road 31C will be recorded and signed as not HOA Business Lane. Several people snorted. One guy clapped loudly. Later that week, a small, neat street sign went up at the entrance to my road. Not HOA Business Lane. Private road, access by owner permitted. The HOA was legally required to acknowledge it in their community map and emergency access plan. In the months that followed, Pine Ridge Estates got noticeably quieter. The new HOA board, now very allergic to lawsuits, rewrote several policies. No board action could be taken on any property without confirming actual ownership first. Any complaint involving common area had to be reviewed by the association's survey and title documents, not just Beverly's binder of vibes. Board members who acted outside their authority could be held personally liable for resulting damages. Beverly did not take it well. She was banned from serving on the board again after an internal ethics finding. She also got a firm letter from the city about filing misleading documents. Nothing dramatic, just enough to stay on her record and make future volunteer leadership roles awkward. Her house? Still in the HOA. Her access street? Still the same. But whenever she drove past my place, she had to pass the green metal sign that mocked her entire crusade. Not HOA Business Lane. I, being petty in a low-effort, high-satisfaction way, added a tasteful wooden plaque below it. Road designed, funded, and owned by N. Drake. Usage fee, $0. Consultation fee for HOA opinions, $500 per hour. Legally meaningless. Spiritually perfect. The new HOA president and I eventually developed a truce. We left each other alone, and the HOA stopped pretending bylaws outranked property law, federal regulations, and basic reality. As for the moral, if you try to steal a man's road and charge him to drive on it, don't be surprised when the map, the law, and a postal inspector team up to pave a new one. Straight to the end of your HOA career.